Fellas, how are we doing? Happy Wednesday. Chuck Silver, this is Smitty. We're here with Occupy Fantasy to talk about DraftKings and FanDuel strategy for the cool NBA slate we got going on today. Smitty, how are we doing?
Good, man. Seems like a pretty good slate. We are just kind of talking pre-show about some of these rotations. Kind of got some key guys out, so it's going to be important to kind of know who to play in those situations.
Yeah, we did get Draymond Green ruled out like 15 minutes ago, so we'll see if the model has an update for that. Um, Chet, doubtful. We have him out. Caruso, doubtful. Pretty sure we have him out too. I guess the real questionable that matters is James Harden in that late game. I saw a report this morning that something about his finger was messed up and he was going to have an MRI or whatever, and then he's questionable for tonight's game. We both thought it was kind of weird. I lean towards James Harden sitting. If you guys see the model on the screen, do I have that pulled up? Oh no, sorry, had the other window pulled up. Let me pull up Cleveland though. We already have James Harden. Oh, wonderful. We already have James Harden ruled out, and so everyone on Cleveland looks amazing today. We're gonna take a look at that. Smitty, you're gonna play as if Harden's not in.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. It seems highly doubtful he plays with how the wording was on everything. If he does play, I don't really expect him to take like an offensive role. Probably more of distributing.
We actually added Harden back to the model. So I was looking at old data, I guess, that had Harden out earlier. I still think he sits, so I'm actually going to use the data on my other screen to reference it. I can't pull it up here. And then Scotty Barnes is questionable, Kyle Anderson's questionable, and Jamal Murray's probable. So that probably doesn't affect anything. Let's wait on Cleveland a few minutes to see if the model does something. Let's start with San Antonio since they don't have any Q tags, right?
Yeah.
So we have a few guys actually showing up with pretty strong value. Who are you looking at on San Antonio?
Yeah, San Antonio. It seems like it's a pretty good game. Expect it to be somewhat competitive, which means we could be slightly low on the Wimby minutes. So pretty interested in Wimby on a slate where we don't have a lot of high end payups, especially on FanDuel, power forward eligible. So starting there for sure. I think Fox, Castle both look pretty good. Fox at his price seems like a pretty good play. So don't mind either of them. That's pretty much it. Don't mind mixing some other guys in. Devin Vassell, the model likes once again. I think he's fine. Not like a priority play for me, but someone you could get over the field on.
Yeah, the model finally hit on Devin Vassell as a top value on that 3 game slate we had a couple days ago. But he's been showing up pretty high in the model almost every day. And at 1 and 3% ownership, he's for sure a tournament play we want to take shots on today. The other guy here that always shows up, Champagne, he's going to look a lot better over on FanDuel at only 4,300 at 2%. If you're making more than a couple lineups, I think you just got to play a few percent of him at least. I think he looks great. Model says he's one of the best GPP plays.
Yeah, he's really cheap there. All it takes is him to knock down a few threes, get a few steals, and he's probably there.
And then De'Aaron Fox, I'm okay with. His price seems pretty reasonable. The ownership on FanDuel does sound a little bit high, but I get it because of the options we have there. And I'm always down for Wemby. It's just we don't have much value right now, so it's a little harder to fit in, especially if we play him now and we put in some bad value later. Maybe something will open up. Maybe we can use Cleveland to help us fit more Wemby in. But his ownership seems pretty reasonable, even on FanDuel at 29%.
Yeah, fully agree.
With Toronto, how are you building? Do you think Scotty Barnes plays?
We actually just got something. I think it was available. Yeah,
Oh
he's
yeah, he
in.
is in. Oh, okay, nice. So no changes here. Pirtle sounds like he's going to play today. I don't think he was on the injury report at all. So how do you want to handle Toronto?
Yeah, not really getting to a ton of this team. Just not a great matchup. Not a spot I'm really looking to attack. I do have a little bit of Pirtle. I think his price is pretty fair. So I have like 6% Pirtle. I'm fine with that. A little bit of RJ Barrett, but not real excited about that. And then you could always play quickly Barnes, Ingram. I think they're in play, but none of them are really priorities for me.
I was using the model earlier to try to find some lower owned plays to decide which site I'm playing on today. I'm playing on DraftKings for once. And Scotty Barnes was one of the guys that kind of stood out here. So he's a little cheaper on DraftKings, and while the value score isn't great, he's coming in with a lot lower ownership than a lot of the guys around him, a lot lower ownership than he's going to come in with on FanDuel. And while FanDuel, we do have a couple more value plays to get to him easier, that's a spot I'd like to get over the field. Scotty Barnes. He's the one that stood out. Cade at only 15%, Wemby at 16%. These guys all stand out too on DraftKings.
Yeah, I like that.
And then you're pretty okay just getting, whatever few percent you get of Brandon Ingram quickly and RJ Barrett.
Yeah, I'm fine with mixing those guys in. Not like a priority play by any means.
And I don't hate your Pirtle call. He's only projected for 1% ownership. He's been bad. The minutes are going to be a weird three-way split between Boyles and Mamukilishvili too. But at 4,400, I think he's worth taking some shots on. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
We'll go to OKC Detroit. So Kason Wallace, huh? Your boy, he's finally
Yeah.
showing up in the NBA. He's been fantastic. 5,900 on FanDuel at only 19% sounds pretty good. 6,500 on DraftKings. I think it's a decent price for him. It might be a little sticker shock because this is probably the most expensive he's ever been. Model thinks he's better on FanDuel, but I want to start with Kason. What do you think about him?
Yeah, to me, he's kind of a guy that probably could do this regularly if he was on a different team. It's just kind of the situation he's in. He's asked to play more defense, so that's kind of just what he does. But right now, I think they just basically told him he needed to step up, and he has. He's been playing good. The minutes have been really good, so I'm happy to get there. I think on DraftKings, a little bit harder at his price. I'm actually still at 5% right now, so I'm a little over the field. FanDuel though looks really good at under 6K. Not the best matchup ever, but I'm pretty happy to get to Kaysen.
I managed to get about 10% Kason on DraftKings, which I'm cool with. Like, it's three times the field. It's a lot, but it's only 10% of my exposure, so I'm cool with it. Who else on OKC are we targeting? Because going by the model, it really only likes Kenrich Williams and Jalen Williams. None of the other guys are really showing up with a good value score, but I am getting some exposure to a couple other guys here.
Yeah, it's Jalen Williams for me. He leads my exposures over on DraftKings and FanDuel. I have quite a bit as well. Only power forward eligible is pretty massive. No Chet, no Hartenstein. Seems like a really good spot. Not the best like matchup, but the minutes should be there. With him at 28 minutes. Last time in a somewhat similar situation, he played 38 or something like that. So there's definitely potential for him to play more minutes than that. So interested in getting Williams. Kenrich also pretty solid. Getting to a decent amount of him. Just a pretty good value play. You can feel good. That's gonna at least get minutes. You just kind of hope he's productive when he's out there.
I'm getting a lot of both of them on DraftKings. They're both in my five highest exposed players. Jalen Williams is number two, behind Reed Shepard. We'll talk about him in a bit. But yeah, I think those two feel pretty good. The minutes should be secure. For some reason, like the model does too, but I feel better about Kenrich than I do about Jalen, and his ownership's coming a lot lower. He's cheaper on both sides, so I think we can maybe even that out a little bit. Not necessarily fade Jalen, just maybe play a little more Kenrich. And then over the field on Isaiah Joe by quite a bit over on DraftKings, and his scores are terrible, but he's actually been really good recently. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Kind of some sticker shock on DraftKings, but he's been playing up to it. We have him for 30 minutes, so yeah, I'm good with that. And then on FanDuel, seems really good at his price too.
Yeah, these minutes have been pretty strong, so hopefully he can just keep up these big minutes. And even this game, he only played 22 minutes, 18 minutes. He still cleared 25 fantasy points. So I think Isaiah Joe, even though the model isn't really into it, I think that's a spot that I'm pretty comfortable getting to. And Aaron Wiggins, the field's getting there. I'm a little bit below this. How do you feel about him, though?
Wiggins, kind of neutral on Wiggins. I'm a little bit below as well. I have 18%. I'd be happy going into the slate with that. Wouldn't mind having a little bit more, but just kind of one of those spots. I'm not like excited to play him, but I'm not really looking to fade him either. Just feel neutral.
Like, yeah, guys are out tonight, but his industry projection today is what, like 26 fantasy points about? He just hasn't been getting there. And while the minutes haven't been there, maybe tonight's an opportunity to get more minutes. I don't know. I feel like the ownership's there. Like his buddy Kason went off last game a couple times in a row, actually. And so if Wiggins was coming in with low ownership, he'd be a guy I'd be more interested in targeting. But at this ownership, like I guess I'll be about half the field on him, and that feels fine to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not to spend way too long on OKC, but Lou Dort and Jared McCain, I think, are worth mentioning.
Yeah, I think you could play either of them. Currently have a couple percent of each and a couple percent of Brandon Carlson running as a backup center, but
Oh, okay.
wouldn't say I'm like overly exposed to any of them.
I have a 4% each of Dort and McCain. That feels good to me. I wasn't looking at Brandon Carlson though. I mean, we don't have much value. Potential that he could get some extra run here. How much are we into Brandon Carlson today?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best leverage plays. Just if Jalen Williams does get into foul trouble or anything like that, could lead to more Carlson minutes. So there's a lot of ways it could help you. Like if he does good and you don't have, like if you didn't play Jalen Williams with him, you're probably looking really good.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna bump him up enough to get a few percent. I am gonna set a rule max two of Jalen Williams, Kenrich Williams, and Carlson though. Don't want
Yeah.
all three in the same lineup. We'll go to Detroit next, and Cade. He's been on fire. I think it was legitimately the worst shooting performance in NBA history last game for 25 plus shots or whatever it was. And he still pretty much got there. And so, while that doesn't have much bearing on today, I'm still pretty down with playing Cade. The field's finally not really getting there. I get it. We've talked about the lack of value today, but I think it's a really easy spot to get over the field.
Yeah, I agree. I think getting over the field makes sense. FanDuel, the ownership's kind of there. Price tag's up too, but I'm fine getting there on both sides. Looks pretty good against a depleted OKC team.
And then, is there anyone in the chat? You guys can throw out some questions, comments, how you feel about what we're talking about. Just want to make sure if anyone is watching here. Appreciate you guys that threw out a what's up near the beginning. Heath, HB, and Sean. Nice. I feel kind of similarly about Jalen Duren, only projected for 15 and 12%. I think he actually did end up getting there in the last game when we were talking about him over Sengun, but his value scores look a lot better. And yeah, I feel like this is a guy that we want to get over the field on today.
Yeah, we kind of talked about how OKC is missing basically all their centers, so seems like a pretty good spot to go to Duran. I have 16%, but that was just my first run. After I make some adjustments, I'll probably come up a little bit on DraftKings. FanDuel, 8,100, kind of tough, but I still would like to be around the field.
Is there anyone else that you were taking a hard look at? I have 1% of a couple of the other guys here, but no one of significance.
Yeah, not really. I have 5% Asar and
Okay.
like 1% Denise Jenkins, but that's pretty much it.
This was something we noticed. Like Asar had a bad game last time. I think people played him a little bit, so maybe they're turned off. But his minutes have been kind of up, right? So maybe we can look a little bit harder at him.
Yeah, he's been like 30 plus since the All Star break, which could be kind of a planned thing.
Yeah, he only saw 18 in the previous game, which is terrible. And honestly, even in these times he played 30, he didn't really get there. What was his ownership? Asar?
Nothing
It's
really.
3%. Yeah, so I think it's fine to get to a few percent of him. I'm gonna make sure I have at least more than one. We'll go to Memphis. Let me do a refresh of the model. I was kind of surprised how little Memphis I was getting in my overall exposures. With Ty Jerome coming back, I'm around 10% on DraftKings on him, and then 3 to 4 to 5% of pretty much everyone else here that's playable. How do you feel?
Yeah, kind of tough to get there. They have more bodies right now than they have had. So I'm finding a tough time getting there. Have a little bit of Jerome on DraftKings, little bit of GG Jackson, but at 6K, it's hard to get super excited there. Jerome, I think, is playable even in limited minutes. We keep seeing Javon Small do it. He's got a price increase, but 0% ownership. Don't mind playing a couple percent of him, but no one really stands out as a priority play to me.
All right, we're back.
Yeah,
You covered the Grizzlies.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yep, I talked about Ty Jerome. I think that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, basically it's Jerome for me, and then I wouldn't mind getting a few percent of Javon Small. Maybe if we get a random Walter Clayton start, wouldn't mind mixing him in, but no one's a priority to me.
Oh, Javon Small, dude. This guy has been the reason why I've had such a terrible couple of weeks. I just keep getting less in the field. No one wants to play him today with Ty Jerome back, but his minutes really haven't been high when he's been getting there anyway, so he's gonna lose some today. But 4,500, he only played 25 minutes last game. I mean, if he gets in that 22 range, it's possible he gets there. You think he's worth a couple percent?
Yeah, I think you could play a few percent. They're not trying to win the game. They do have more bodies this time around, so can't say I'm super confident, but uh, just say he plays 20, 25 minutes. I'm okay with it.
Okay. I actually am a little concerned the chat's broken because I know
Yeah,
it's maybe you,
actually,
Smitty, but
I had just pulled up YouTube on my phone to make sure it was working. Or not the chat, but just make sure it was working in general.
it's only 3 comments, right?
Yeah.
I feel like someone would have reacted to the first time I said it though, so I feel like the chat's broken. If we don't get a flurry of messages right now, then we're just not seeing them, guys. I apologize for that. We'll move on to the. Wait, did we talk about Golden State? Can we talk about Golden State? You think we're good?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do Golden State. No Draymond, so all these guys are, well, I guess they were showing up a little bit of better value earlier, but Horford showing up with top value on the model on FanDuel anyway. Moses Moody's good. Pajemski is still going to be great coming off the bench. We do have him for 33.6 minutes, which is probably pretty accurate. And then I was disappointed seeing how high Pat Spencer was owned today because I'm pretty interested in getting over the field if he was lower owned, but he's not. He's a higher owned. So how do you want to handle Golden State?
Yeah, as it stands right now, my first build was actually with Draymond in, so it's going to change a little bit, but I'm still getting to a ton of Golden State. So they don't have very many bodies, so makes it pretty interesting. Pods, I think, looks really good, especially if